All right, I've watched the penultimate episode of season 1, The Radio. The title refers to the radio station that's shown at the climax of this episode, and that's where Lucy and Maximus encounter Thaddeus, who finds out that he's a ghoul. We learn that ghouls are the result of some kind of chemical cocktail that circulates through their body, and that's what keeps them alive. It doesn't necessarily make them skinless mutants, at least not in the early stages. Thaddeus learns that he's a ghoul because of his resistance to cellular damage. Maximus makes the quick-witted decision to mix up the head of the target with the heads of these victims of the traps by the radio station set up by the DJ, who's played by Fred Armisen, an alumnus of Saturday Night Live, just like Chris Parnell, who plays the overseer of Vault 4, that turns out to be pretty benign in terms of its cultural values. The prior episode makes them seem like they're this mad cult. In a nice subversion of expectations, they're very peace-loving, almost pacifistic. And the people who are subject to these experiments, they're not victims of the Vault 4 community, they're just almost like patients of those vault dwellers. Of course, the main revelation of this episode would be through more flashbacks that Moldaver had been a scientist who helped uncover the secret of infinite energy, and that's probably what Wilzig had injected into his neck way back in episode 2. The prior episodes have kind of hinted at the importance of energy in the pre-Armageddon days. There's a news broadcast about how allies are vying for resources. The importance of energy is hinted in the prior episode, and it's kind of carried over into this episode. All those, just the value of fusion cores, but the infinite energy is like even beyond that. It actually makes Vault-Tec look even more evil, buying up technology that would solve the world's energy problems just so they could facilitate the end of the world, that sense of desperation. So Moldaver is more of an interesting character now. She's probably a ghoul like Cooper and now Thaddeus, but for some reason she's not mutated like them. So I don't know what causes that. And we, as the audience, go back to Vault 33. The Vault 3 community members get split, seemingly assigned at random. Of course, Stephanie is the interim overseer of Vault 32. Norm calls Chet a coward for not resisting or taking objection to poisoning of the prisoners. It's probably Betty, but Norm calls Chet a coward, and then Chet hits back and says that we're all cowards. That's why they live in a vault. That's really memorable. It seems like I had expected the people who claim to be from Vault 31 aren't necessarily from Vault 31. Maybe they're just posing as inhabitants of there, and Norm does some next level hacking, and he communicates with whoever or whatever is the Vault 31 overseer, and then he goes into the vault, and it seems to be empty, although there might be some kind of automated machinery. A good cliffhanger. We're going to see Lucy's dad, who is played by Kyle MacLachlan. I'd really known him, but I guess he's the original Paul Atreides, live-action Paul Atreides. I think the show is more interesting when there's less information revealed, like there's more intrigue, but there's still a little bit of intrigue left, and I'm sure we'll see exactly what had led up to the Armageddon. So it seems like Vault-Tec had, in fact, triggered nuclear war. Maximus finally comes clean, tells Lucy that he's not Titus. At this point, they've been through a lot, so it's plausible that she wouldn't really care so much, and she invites him to live with her in Vault 31. But if they do return to Vault 31, it's like, it's not home sweet home like Lucy might think it is. I've kind of gone away from the show for a bit, but yeah, I will check out the finale.